I'm the exeter-rider. This is part 2 of the Honda NC750 seat fix. So I know what you're all thinking. What's he going to do about this gap in here, this here, and then this under here? Because obviously it's lifted up a bit more now. So I have a solution for that, and I've been racking my brains for quite a while now before I even shot this video. And what I've done is I've got some car door trim here. So take that off there. And this before was never finished. This is how they come out the factory. And it's actually done me a favour, because what I've done is I've sourced some of this on Amazon. And this is car door closer, buffer. I don't really know what it is, what you call it really. Car door seal. And what we can do there, look, let's just push that onto there. Like so. Obviously I'm going to make this better than what it is at the moment, shortly. But just to show you the idea of it. And what that'll do then is we've now got that. So that closes it off. It doesn't look crummy. You'd never even noticed before, if you didn't know. And sorry, forgive me. Jump over here and jump back again. Right. Now what you do get with this is little kinks in it. Going through, like so. I want to try and avoid that. So what I'm going to do is this here is a 10mm hole in there, which is ideal just for this 10mm microbore plumber's pipe. So what I can do is shove it down there. So it's nearly coming out the end. Like so. And all I need to do now is chop that off in the right place, and I can bend that in to where I need it to go. Like so, and that will stop it kinking then. So that's the next job. Let's go and do that. Right, so this doesn't have to be too precise, of course, so I'm going to take it from about there. Put that in these little pipe cutters, like so. Right, so that's one done. Obviously we need two, because I need one for the other side as well. Like so. Shove that in there. Ooh. Yeah, it looks pretty good to me. Right, so I've already got these actually pre-cut, these two here. So I'm just going to show you how to do it, and I'll dress it in better at a later date. That'll go in there like so. Should do anyway. Come on. Come on. There you go. Right, so that's for that side. I've cut these at an angle as well, just to fall in right to where to the way it's moulded on the actual bike. Push that into there like so. And now when that does bend with the line there, it's not going to kink the rubber. Right. It's probably something you don't really need to do, to be honest, but it just makes a better job of it. If I don't do it, people will be commenting, won't they? And I wouldn't mind that either, of course. I like the comments. So, right, let's push it onto there. It's a bit of a curve, so we can just push that into place steadily and slowly all the way along. Like that. Another good thing with copper is that of course it doesn't rust as well, so it's a bonus. Surprised how much curve this has got actually. Into there, come on, on you go. There you go. Look at that, look. See, like there's not a kink in it now. It feels really solid. It's not going to move anywhere. I'll just run this bit forward quite quickly, and you don't need to see this other bit, do you? Now, when that goes on there, it's not going to kink now. That's as solid as a rock there. Put the seat on again. Like that. Let's grab you. Bring you down there. And that's what you see now. So I would say that is more than acceptable. It probably looks worse on camera than what it actually does in real life. You're getting the light off of there as well, and in real life I'm not looking at any reflection on there. It just sits in quite nicely. No gap, no daylight. It's not sealing the seat, but it wasn't. There was no seal there before, so. Yeah, pretty good. Anyone who didn't know wouldn't know, would they? Right, now, next stage is to get rid of this bit here. You're probably thinking, how the hell am I going to do that? Yeah, I was too at one point. But now, I thought was sort of a way of doing that. It's a funny shape, it's an awkward shape, and, well, let me put you up here a minute. I will show you exactly how I'm going to go about this. So we're going to use this again. This is the perfect width and height to stuff in there. Like so. It will actually go deeper in a minute. Once I sort that out. And curve it around. Now the problem with that obviously is that there's a couple issues with it actually. First of all, it's not holding in. It's not staying in. And secondly, every time I open the back to fill up the fuel, it's going to be popping out. So I need to think of a way of getting this curved round. Well, it curves around, it curves down. It's a really, really awkward shape. And pull it in round there. So, how am I going to do that? Well, okay, so what I thought of doing was to, again, use this. Now that we've got some left over. Get a hammer and basically flatten it out. Like so. In that sort of motion. And what we can do then is flatten it out, and then we can heat it up and shape it. What we actually end up with, and I know it's a bit crude and it doesn't look great, is this shape here. So I've flattened out a load of microbore pipe, as it's called in the UK. I don't know what it's called in other countries. And what that's going to do is I've heated it up well, which when you heat copper it becomes a bit more malleable and a bit more, it's just easier to bend. Okay. So I can put that in there now, sit that down inside, and the grip on the car door trim here can sit on it, like so, and it can just be bent down and around. I'll probably need to glue it in places on the ends because that's quite a tight curve there. I'll just keep on pushing on. I haven't finished this one yet. I jumped the gun a bit really, and I just heated it up and got on with it. So eventually when that sits down, like so. It will look better than this, obviously, but I haven't finished it yet. But when it's all done, it will keep that curve, and then when I open it, that's what you're going to see. Right, okay, back onto voiceover. So I need a symmetrical curve on each side. So what I do is I place it into where it's got to go and put a mark right there of where I want the curve to start. Take it over to a piece of old scrap board that you don't need anymore. Put the already curved curve against there and make a template. And when you're bending it around and heating it up in a second, you'll be able to cross-reference it against this template here. Okay, so we're ready for heating up now. I'm using a propane blowtorch, and what we want to do is to heat it up nice and steadily, and you see where the blue mark is there just about. It takes a long time this, you've got to take your time and get it right. It can only go as fast as it wants to go. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit here. Okay, obviously it's red hot now and it's ready to be pulled around. So I'm getting ready with the pliers now, just heating it up a little bit more, and I can start pulling it around bit by bit. Now I've done that, I can cross-reference it against the template that I made earlier, and that looks pretty good to me. Now we've got the shape, we just need to dress it in a little bit, flatten out all the little bits of all the little dents and imperfections. You see it's all a bit sooty and black at the moment, but we can scrape that off after. Just making a neat job of it now. I purposely left the ends on each side oversized, so when I jiggled it around I had plenty of room to maneuver, but I need to chop the ends off now to the right size. We're ready to stick the gasket on now, but before we do, we need to get the trim to go around the corners on the actual metal. It's quite tight and it keeps on springing off, so what we're going to do is put two little nips in each side, which will help it come around the corner then. That's one side done, then we've just got to do the other side. Again, you can see the slot in there now at a 90-degree angle. That allows you to pull it around like so. As with the under seat mounting, we want a piece of tube to go through this part of the seat, which is a lot shorter than each end. It needs to be about 2 inches short either end. Push it through, and again it avoids kinking of the rubber. Okay, we're getting there, so I'm just going to clean it up now and get it ready for gluing. I've already filed off the ends nice and smooth. It's all relatively flat. I'm using abrasive tape, but only because I couldn't find my wire wool, but anything like that would do it. Right, I'm sticking this in a bucket of water because I need to use some PU glue, which I normally use Gorilla Glue for this type of application. Both sides need to be wet to activate the glue itself. It's both wet sides, so I've just got to squish it into the actual trim and then push it around on the copper template. Over to the bike to see if it actually fits. That looks pretty good to me. A little bit of shuffling and jiggling around to get it just right, but to be honest, that's pretty good. Okay, so that's that part done. I've got the glue drying in the corner now for the gasket in here. Before I start thinking about fixing the seat and how I'm going to do it, I'm going to start on the seat now and cutting the seat. This is the part which I'm really not looking forward to. It's something that I've been thinking about for quite a while now, how I'm going to tackle it. What I've got to do, I'll just grab you a second. So what I've got to do is I've already marked a light line here. That was just a tester. But what I think I'm going to actually do is to put masking tape on the underside of the seat around the back end, and that can be a mark where I can cut it. But what I'll do is I'll shoot off camera again and I'll do the voiceover on this one. Time to cut the seat now. Here I've got a load of staples, and if you look up closely you can see a really faint line which I'm rubbing my finger along now. That ironically is where I want to do the cutting as well, where I need to actually cut the seat. So first of all I've got to lose the staples. So to start them off I'm just going to use a screwdriver. Then get the pliers and take out the rest of the staple. Okay, so you'll never guess what happened. I've just cut the seat, and it took about half an hour to do that. And what I used was a multi-tool to cut the plastic underneath here. One of these with a little oscillating blade. And I cut that much material off. There was a small faint line which you'll have on your NC750. There's a faint line going across all the way. Like a dotted line, and so ironically I just had to cut to that line, and it was exactly where I wanted it to go. I went to go back to edit that part of the video and it just wasn't there. I don't know why. Maybe I didn't push record or something, I don't know. I got a funny feeling my memory ran out on the thing, but yes, bit of a pain to say the least. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to backtrack a bit, and what we had was that bit of plastic, so I cut that with a multi-tool, and what I then done was I've used a long blade like this, very sharp blade, and I've just gone level, how do I do that, level with the seat all the way around, alright, and just cut the foam underlay off the seat, and it's turned out brilliant, thank goodness. So yeah, I mean it looks a bit rough, but at the end of the day, it's an amateur doing it, so I haven't got one of those hot wires which you meant to cut foam with. But it does look, it's really good actually. It does look good and it does work very well. So I was hoping to do this in 2 parts, but unfortunately it's going to go into part 3 now, which I'll make sure that I'll get out to you next week, okay, on Friday at 1 o'clock GMT. So yeah, it's going to be a shorter part on the last one, but I didn't want this to be a monster long part. I wanted to try and keep it 15 minutes per part and get it done in one hit. But as you can see, there's quite a lot to do here. It's been done at a very cheap cost, and I mean I've spent literally £10, which is nothing, is it? And it is actually turning out as good as aftermarket seats. So anyway, so part 3, I'm going to be finishing cutting the seat and putting it all together, and then I've got a good way of fixing the seat. A lot of you are wondering how I'm going to fix the seat. I've already got that sussed, I've just got to film it. So thank you very much for watching part 2, and I will see you next week in part 3.